The first pilot to present is Pilot 3, which is all about tapping into the power of startups. Through the Startup Challenge, we're looking for ready-to-go solutions that can help Europe institutions use energy more efficiently, especially with the new reduction targets coming into play. We're focusing on startups and scale-ups that already have mature technologies, so we can move fast, test them in real environments, and scale what works through innovative procurement methods. To walk us through the results and key takeaways, I'm pleased to hand over to my colleagues and friends. Please, the floor is yours.
Morning, everyone. My name is Sofia Silva. I am head of growth at Golbe Studio. We're a GovTech innovation advisor firm delivering open innovation for the public sector, both in Europe and in Iberoamerica. And we have been working over the past year leading Pilot 3. So I'll be walking you over the next 40 minutes onto the work that we have been doing. And today, honestly, I'm not here just to tell you about exactly what we did. We're also here to share what we have learned together, because Pilot 3 in this case wasn't built by just one organization or even by one type of organization. It was the result of collaboration across many different sectors, each playing a unique role. We led the coordination and overall design of the pilot, but several organizations supported this implementation, including Bron Innovation, Beta-I, GRNet, the Lithuania Innovation Agency, and GovMind. They worked closely with cities and regions to bring the methodology to life. 6 public institutions implemented the process on the ground, testing how open innovation can work in real settings. And these institutions were the government of Catalonia, and Madrid City Council in Spain, Örnsköldsvik in Sweden, Tauraj and Siuliai in Lithuania, and the municipality of Kalamata in Greece. And of course, none of these would have been possible without the startups. Brisa and Tactica Tech in Spain, AI Labs and IT Baltic in Lithuania. Each of them took part in a real pilot with a public institution. And as you can see, this was a truly European effort, bringing together perspectives from both Northern and Southern Europe, from governments to startups and innovation enablers. And today we want to reflect together on what this diversity actually made possible. But before we dive into what happened on the ground, let's take a moment to talk about the problem that we were trying to solve, because that's actually the nutshell of the project, right? At its core, Pilot 3 was about helping local governments work better with startups. We wanted to make it easier for public institutions to find, test, and adopt digital solutions that can improve how services are both designed but also delivered, and ultimately how citizens experience them. This is not just a technical challenge, it's also political and cultural. We're operating in a broader context where trust in democratic institutions is declining, and expectations from citizens on the other side are growing, right? So people want public services that are more responsive, more personalized, and easier to use. But even when the most promising startup solutions exist, public institutions often struggle to work with them. Why? Because there are structural barriers that most of us here in the room already know. Here's where Pilot 3 actually comes in. We designed the pilot to tackle all of this with a structured approach. We combined an open innovation process to explore and test solutions, a bootcamp to support startups in navigating the public sector, and a flexible procurement tool, the design contest, to help institutions buy innovation more effectively. Each of these elements played a role in breaking down the barriers that keep startups and governments apart. So, how did we respond to those challenges? We basically designed a solution made up of 3 interconnected components, as I was just mentioning. Each one focused on removing a specific barrier to GovTech collaboration. The first one was the open innovation process, and this was the backbone of the pilot. It was a structured 5-phase journey from challenge definition to scalability that guided municipalities through identifying real needs, scouting solutions, testing them, and planning for scale. It gave public teams a clear, replicable way to work with startups and learn through experimentation. The second instrument was the design contest. It's ideal when the public institution clearly understands the problem, but that doesn't know yet what the best solution looks like. So instead of writing detailed technical specifications, you open the door for startups and SMEs to propose new ideas. That's the sphere or the space that we would ideally work in. Why? Because it's more agile than a traditional tender, and critically, it's also anonymous. Proposals are evaluated without names or branding, with which levels the playing field and ensures fairness in the process. And lastly, the third instrument is the Startup Bootcamp. We knew that startups needed support. So this program helped them refine their business to government or B2G strategy, understand how public institutions operate, and prepare for effective collaboration. So it was a key enabler for building mutual readiness on both sides. Together, these three components created the conditions for real collaboration between governments and startups, not just for a one-off pilot, which is critical here, but with the tools to actually do it again. We're going to take a closer look at the first instrument that we were just exploring, which is the open innovation process. It was implemented by 6 local and regional governments from across Europe. These were Madrid, Catalonia in Spain, Kalamata in Greece, Sweden, and Lithuania. And we asked all of them to identify a challenge related to energy efficiency in public services as a theme to actually explore. The theme was especially relevant given the climate emergency, the war in Ukraine, and the European Union's push to reduce dependency on fossil fuels, so it had some kind of policy and strategic alignment. In other words, why is this relevant? Because it made the problem real, urgent, and it's a policy priority that was explored before, but it just needed new approaches. The process itself unfolded in 5 key phases. First one, it's the challenge definition. Each city worked to identify a specific problem related to the theme, one they didn't have yet a solution for, but that they were ready to address. And this is important, the kind of unknown space that cities were working in. Second phase is the open call. We launched a call for startups and SMEs to propose solutions to these challenges, generating that visibility and that outreach across Europe. Third phase is selection of companies. Proposals were reviewed through the design contest anonymously, fairly, and also based on how well they fit the specific local need. Fourth phase is pilot implementation. So the selected startups then worked hand in hand with the public institution to test the solution in real conditions over several months. And lastly, scalability and visibility. We captured the learnings, we assessed the potential for scale, and we shared the results with other institutions and ecosystems. So what really makes this process powerful is that each phase is a building block. You can replicate the full journey or adapt just one phase to fit a new context. How does this translate in the implementation side? We can see here the 6 participating municipalities and the startups that were selected to pilot their solutions. We won't go into too much detail here just yet, because in a few minutes you'll hear the stories of each local pilot firsthand, told by their different team members. But I do want to highlight that each government launched its own design contest, some earlier, some a bit later, but most of them took place during the summer period of 2024. And a small disclaimer here, Kalamata wasn't able to launch its contest in the end due to internal restrictions within the municipality. So while it was a missed opportunity, it also gave us valuable insights into the kinds of institutional barriers that can arise. So those are lessons that we'll come back to later in the presentation. We always talk about success and unsuccess, because every unsuccess, it's a lesson, so we're always succeeding technically. In terms of the methodology, we offer training to all partners involved. We're bringing in some photos here to show that this was actually delivered by real people, because all this methodology sounds like a lot of buzzwords, but this was actually work that got done on the ground. And what you see here is a part of the toolkit that we use to guide the challenge definition phase, along with a photo from one of the hands-on workshops, which we held with a public institution to help firm their challenge. Beyond the structured process itself, we also organized 2 key events to support visibility and engagement during the implementation phase. This was the first Challenge Info Day, which took place in Vilnius. This was a hybrid event where the participating public institutions presented their energy challenge proposals live, both to a local audience, but also to the startups joining online from all across Europe. And it was an important moment to give visibility to the pilot, also to generate interest and to connect with potential applicants before the design contests opened and were launched. Later in the process, we also hosted a demo day held within the GovTech4All conference framework. And this was an opportunity to showcase the progress of the pilots, share early learnings, and give the selected startups a platform to present their solutions publicly, as well as creating a space for peer learning across municipalities and for conversations about what came next after the pilot phase, which is always the big question. So these 2 events ultimately helped anchor the process a little bit, not just as a set of internal steps, but as a shared, visible, and outward-facing initiative that also engages with the external world. Here's some of the photos from our Vilnius Challenge Info Day. And now it's it's time to shift from the overall process and the methodology and the macro perspective to what really matters, which is what happened on the ground. Each pilot tells a very different story about how this methodology played out in a real institutional context with real teams, real challenges, and also real constraints. So to walk us through these experiences, I'd like to invite Ulrika, Eduard, Marta, and Victoras to join me on stage. They will each share the story of one local pilot, including the challenge they tackled, the solution they tested, and what they learned along the way. So please join me on stage. We're starting off with the Catalonian pilot.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity and also for include us and follow the complete process. That was really lucky. Our problem was easy to define because we had a real problem. We have contact with, we are regional government, and we have more than 6,000 buildings, public buildings, and we have control all the environment of that buildings. So it was a real problem, and we don't know if it has a good solution or not. So we had the problem, and we didn't know how the startups can help us. We don't know which was the level, the maturity of the technology, even if the technology can help or not. Traditional solutions, we know they are expensive. You have to model every building. You have to model a lot of things, a lot of data. And then we think, okay, with AI, perhaps we have other solutions, creative solutions to do that. And really, it works. And a startup has a technology, is innovative. They were prepared. They knew the technology, so it's not that they have to develop a complete new process. And they were really agile, not just for the name of the process. They were agile. One lesson learned was the process. How can you make a public procurement to get it? It was innovative, and now it's one card that we have incorporated to our procedures, how to make the public procurement faster, easier, and neutral. To don't think in the solution, think in your problem, describe your problem, open it, and let the market give the solution. Secondly, work together. Don't explain the problem and wait till the result comes. No, work with the developers face-to-face during that month that they are adapting the solution or creating the solution exactly for your problem. Don't wait till they have developed what they believe could be a solution. Work constantly with them. We had a lot of problems because the buildings, we have prisons, we have schools. So the data available for each one of the buildings was very different. Okay, the systems, the providers, and we want a practical solution. No, I want to operate all this system with 6,000 buildings. I want to let the order. I want to let I want to know when I have to change the equipment in that building based on a forecast of how is the living time of that equipment, that kind of things, practical things, okay? And we will continue. We have piloted the solution, it's okay, and say, okay, I want to contract it. I want to contract and even extend it to the complete install base. So it was a good solution, and the good thing of when the process is running well is, no, I don't want a pilot. I want a product. And now we will scale it for the complete plant of the 6,000 buildings, and we will keep that solution as the global solution on the provider. The startup, Brisa, will be the provider, and we will scale it like an ongoing solution. So, next one.
Okay, hello. So my name is Ulrika Eklöf, and I'm from Sweden. Work at Bron Innovation. The most of you probably heard of Bron Innovation right now. It's been talking about Bron in many pilots. So I work together with Hannah and Angelica. Anyway, but today I'm going to tell you about the local pilot in Örnsköldsvik, in the northern of Sweden, called Paradiset. But first, let me set the scene. So you're in the northern of Europe. It's winter, and it's around -20 degrees outside. And everything is frozen solid, except for one magical place. Of course, that's Paradiset. And Paradiset is one of the Northern Europe's largest water park, actually. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, so I would like to ask you a question. Take a couple of minutes. Why doesn't it work? Okay. So my question to you is, how much energy do you think it takes to keep a tropical water park warm and welcoming in that kind of cold? And think in households. How many households do you think this water park consumes? Does anyone want to take a guess? 100? 1,000. Okay. It's something in between. It's actually 425 houses Yeah, that's right. That is how much energy it consumes to keep everything warm and nice and bubbling. So, okay, so this is Paradiset. And for years, the team at Paradiset had done everything they could to reduce energy. They optimized settings, upgraded systems, and chased every efficiency hack they could find in the book. But eventually, they hit a wall, or perhaps a steamy glass facade, I don't know. So we at Brunn, together with the municipality, posed a new question. Could artificial intelligence help? And the question was not just only to react, but to predict the weather forecasts and weather shifts, visitors numbers. Could the AI predict all these stuff to make it more efficient, to make it smarter, to do real-time decisions? Oh, sorry, I can't really. So that was the question. And then we entered the open innovation process that Sophia just told us about. And we followed this method. So we did defining the challenge. And we did it structured and clear, and we had the right people at the table. We did a European-wide design competition, and we had actually 5 proposals that came in, and great response actually. So we say that innovation procurement really works. And then we went to the pilot execution, and AI went live. We had the real data, real testing. So together we launched this 6-month pilot. And to see if this AI could monitor the Paradise's waste data, temperatures, humidity, energy use, visitors flow, and everything. Exactly. I think I'm missing a slide, but that's okay. Let's jump into what we learned. And also, I would like to say that feel free to nod along if you can recognize the lessons learned. I guess we all can recognize them. So, lesson 1. Even with the best intentions, we ran into delays, and we also find ourselves in unknown and unclear ownerships and incompatible systems. I don't know if you heard of incompatible systems, but next time we will treat data sharing like its own mini pilot. And also, virtual meetings, they are great, but real collaboration starts when you shake hands over the whiteboard. And language is key. And I'm not talking about Swedish versus English. I'm talking about the technical language, the project language, the legal language. So try to align on terms that saves a lot of things. And lessons 4, prepare early and thoroughly. And I know that yesterday Alex told us to be proactive so that we plan ahead, not only resources, but responsibilities, systems, and everything. And make sure that you have a technical expert. And last but not least, pilots are about learning, not perfections. So we did not only test AI, we tested ways of working across teams, across countries, across public and private borders. And also, I think we actually emerged a little bit smarter, clearer, and honestly, also a bit prouder. So, what's next? Okay. The pilot is still running, and the solution has real scaling potential. I think you should think schools, care facilities, and other municipalities, buildings. Anywhere actually that energy and comfort intersect. So next time AI goes to a water park, I think it will be packing a technical project manager, a translator, and a pre-designed sharing agreement. So thank you.
Hello to everyone. I am Viktoras Urbis. I am from Innovation Agency at Lithuania. I'm representing GovTech Lab team. I'm an innovation expert at GovTech Lab. And today I'll try to present you two of our pilots that we implemented in Lithuania. And the first one was in Tauragė municipality. The issue, the challenge that the municipality tried to solve was about green spaces, and the challenge sound how to track green spaces. Very common challenge probably to many cities, but it was very actual and very important question to municipality, and they had a few objectives that they tried to seek, and one of them was more efficient management of public spaces, because it was like before it was like navigating in fog by trying to plan green spaces, plants, trees, and so on, as well to optimize use of resources, because the maintenance of tasks as well, it takes time, and when you are in the fog of your green spaces, it's very difficult. And in the end, to make data-driven decision making, so to have real-time data from your city, and as well data from and responses from your citizens and as well residents in your city. There's problems with trees, there's problems with parks, and so on. And after design contest, Tauragė municipality started collaboration with company Ignit Baltic, and they developed a solution like green space management system. That system allows 3D modeling for tree inventory, heat island detection, plantation planning, and as well optimizes the assignment and monitoring of maintenance tasks, and enables citizens to report green space issues easily. So by testing this solution, they have an opportunity to see how their trees will look after 5-10 years. And you know, this municipality, Tauragė municipality, had a goal to become climate neutral city in 2030. So this solution would very help to them to work directly and to be one step further. And finally, solution was like about this digitalization of green spaces, but indeed it was more, I would say, more about way to city to respond, to listen and to respond for citizens and nature. So yeah, thank you.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I am Marta Cruz from the Digital Office from Madrid City Council. And first of all, I want to thank LangTIC for this opportunity to share our ideas here in the cathedral. I don't know if you are aware of that, but this is called La Catedral. So thank you very much for this astonishing organization of the event. So I'm here to present our pilot about a smart irrigation system in Cuña Verde de la Latina Park in Madrid, and our broader initiative, which is Smart Urban Spaces. So what was our challenge? As Sofia explained before, one of the greatest challenges that we are all facing nowadays is climate change. And in fact, in Madrid, within our Madrid Digital Capital Strategy, one of the most important actions is the digital twin transition, which is green and digital. So we really want to put the new technologies to the service to a smooth climate, to help to I'm sorry, but yeah, so for the climate change transition. Then, as Angel also explained to us before, interoperability has been a great deal in Spain for many years. And I think we can say we've made really a lot of initiatives regarding the once-only principle. And I think we are already quite great all over Spain regarding the once-only principle and interoperability in electronic administration. This has been a collaborative effort of all administrations. But now in Madrid, well, he said already that Spain is a very complex country because there's a lot of people, there are a lot of different administrative levels. But in Madrid, we have also other great challenges. Madrid is a very big city. There are more than 3 million people living and working in Madrid. And we are more than 30,000 workers in Madrid. So we have some specific challenges regarding interoperability within the city. So our initiative is Smart Urban Spaces, so Smart Urban Spaces. And for that, our first initiative has been the Smart Irrigation Park. So what did we want? What was the challenge? We started with a real need. We had smart irrigation system, but with this deployment of artificial intelligence, we thought that we could go a step forward and use artificial intelligence to make our irrigation systems smarter. So that's how it all started. But then we started working, we joined this great GovTech4All European consortium, and we also started working with academia. So we signed an agreement with the Polytechnical University of Madrid to see how was the best way to do that. And we realized that it really didn't make sense to make just like a smart irrigation system. We had to focus on interoperability, and we had to make all of the devices of our great city talk to each other. So we started to this scalability and replicability project. Because we were sure that it couldn't be an isolated case. If we were doing this project only in this park, it couldn't be a success. We wanted the whole city, all of our public workers, to work with the same model so that it could replicate later. So the goal, as I said earlier, was to lower our water consumption, but also our energy consumption. So what we do, we started with the challenge, and thanks to this innovative process, we found a great startup which had a great system based on artificial intelligence to reduce the water consumption. But what was really crucial was that we developed together a model for the interoperability also with the other devices in the park. So we also changed the street map, the street lamps, so that we could afford a water and an electrical consumption. For that, we had to develop a common data model, a data space, and a platform. And that was the key of the project. So in the end, it all started as irrigation system, smart irrigation system, but what's great about this pilot is that we had to move beyond that. So we had to go to smart lighting and energy optimization, but then we are also setting more, this has really broadened, so we have installed air quality, and we are also working on noise and environmental monitoring sensors. The thing is that the data that we are going to get from the smart irrigation system can be used for other use cases. And I think that's what makes great of this initiative. Then, as I said, we've already achieved the phase 1 of the project. So the deployment, so it's carried out, the smart irrigation system and the smart lighting system is developed in large areas of the park, this park of La Latina in Cuña Verde of Madrid. Here you have the map of the park, so it's quite a big park. But we want to go further. Well, we have covered this area. We want to go to the whole park. It's a really big park, so it's we've found a new budget because it's a really big park, and we want to go beyond that so that the solutions will be replicated in other areas, in other parks. And what makes us more proud is that we have talked to other public workers in the city of Madrid, and we are going to replicate it in Valdemingómez, which is the waste management facility of Madrid, and also in Mercamadrid, which is our food distribution system, and I think it's one of the largest in Europe. So lessons learned. I'd say first, collaboration is key. We wouldn't have achieved that without collaborating with you and without collaborating with academia and the providers that we already had in the City Council. Second, when you start innovating, it goes beyond what you had already planned. And yeah. This is our experience in Madrid. I really want to thank all the members of the consortium, Alex, Gove, and all of the other colleagues from the administrative and from the other pilots. And I just want to welcome the next members of the next members of the consortium. I'm really glad that there are more cities joining us so that we can address our specific challenges. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Here I am once again, and now I would like to invite you to another city of Lithuania, to Šiauliai. And Šiauliai municipality solved a problem that is, of course, related to energy efficiency, and it's related to winter. Winter, as in Sweden, in Lithuania, winters are very cold as well. Šiauliai came to challenge how to ensure warm classrooms and, of course, controlling, rising energy costs. So it is like this challenge sounds very simple on paper, but it's quite difficult in complex reality because it is related not about bills and heating systems, but it's related to data. Because if you cannot manage that, you cannot measure. So, and Šiauliai wanted to improve energy efficiency in educational institutions. So we took 3 different institutions to pilot their solution and to ensure warm classrooms and as well to have smart spending and safe environment. And after design contests, they started collaboration with startup AI labs, and they have created monitoring and benchmarking system for real-time and historical data for selected periods of energy resources. And as well, this system allows shows energy consumption by institution, by per pupil, per square meter, and as well allows to group and compare, information and data between different institutions. At this case, they tested with free educational institutions, but as well they discussed in the future to scale it to another institutions that are administrated by municipalities, and as well it is important to institutions to compare between each other. So after testing the solution, they had to stop the development at this stage, differently from Tauragė municipality, which is planning to procure a full scale of product. But so Šiauliai decided to stop the project at this moment because they saw that its accuracy of data is not very high as we expected, and it needs more specific sensors that would be integrated in different institutions. They integrated some sensors, but it should be integrated, in water pipes and so on. But despite of that, they discussed that in the future, if they will find a way how to develop a solution that would be more accurate, so they would look more for ownership of institutions, ownership and interest from public sector institutions to use this product, and as well opportunity to open data for public, because it is very important to citizens and to all of us to know how much it costs and how much energy it needs to have warm classrooms for education or for other public services we use. So thank you all for listening, and that's it from Lithuania.
Thank you so much to our three speakers for sharing their lessons with us. Before we close, we want to share some of the key lessons we've taken away from this experience, because what no one really tells you about running GovTech pilots with startups is how complex and how human the process actually is. Pilot 3 made it clear that public innovation isn't just about methods and tools. It's also about people, timing, politics, and institutional structure. So we've gathered the lessons that mattered most to us, and we think that this can help others running some similar pilots in the future. I'm going to ask Gustavo from Beta I and Despina from GRNet to join me on stage, and we're going to be extremely quick sharing these lessons because I'm very conscious of time. So please join me here. Do we have another hand microphone by any chance?
Because I think we have slides for... Do we have slides for that?
I think so. Yeah.
And I think yours are first.
I think,
Is
this one yours? I'll take this one. I'll just start with what we deem it's most relevant. Basically, what we have found is that local adaptation is essential, because the one-size-fits-all doesn't really work across municipalities. So the takeaway is design for flexibility. Build the methodologies with modular elements and plan for hands-on support to help teams adjust the process to their local context without losing sight of the shared objectives. Not sure which lesson comes next. Oh, okay, all of them are here. The second lesson, or on our end, so that I get rid of all of them at the same time and then leave the time for Despina and Gustavo. Time buffer matters. Bureaucracy takes longer than planned. We usually just tend to ignore that, but the real situation is that it does affect timing. So build slack. You do need to build slack into the timeline from the very beginning. So expect things to take longer than planned, and prepare the teams to also anticipate and navigate these internal hurdles early on. I want to highlight a success factor before I leave the floor to my colleagues. And what we have deemed extremely relevant is cross-department collaboration. IT, innovation, and service teams must co-own the pilot. No one pilot can succeed if it's just owned by one department. So In the cities where the pilot moved faster and deeper, there was a clear effort to bring in different departments together from day one, not just in implementation, but also during the challenge definition phase. So this meant better alignment, fewer surprises, important, and ultimately more realistic and impactful solutions. So the lesson here is form multidisciplinary teams early and make collaboration part of the process, not an afterthought. Despina, Gustavo?
Yes. I'll just highlight, because I'm also like time conscious, so I don't know if we have, no, it's okay, I'll go back. I think the one that I would like to highlight, because I know you mentioned that, we have the pilots from all countries that participated, and you saw Kalamata here, but you didn't see the results of Kalamata, because Kalamata didn't finally go through with the final stage, which was the procurement and the piloting, but we did go through the first phase. So we did the methodology, we followed the methodology, we did the challenge definition, so we developed the procurement, but it didn't actually launch at the end. So for us, what was an important lesson learned is like political leadership and political buy-in. We said at the beginning, it's truly important, because I think we missed our opportunity to have that, even though we did involve them from the beginning. So bear in mind, this is a very important issue. You have to convince, the higher leadership that it's a project that they have to throw resources in it. And at the end, they didn't have enough resources to finalize the whole process. So political buy-in, and as Sofia already mentioned, resources, this is something that you have to involve at least a few people from different departments to be there and have it as not as a side thing that they have to do, but truly believe in it and put their effort into it. So I'll just go to Gustavo. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll be very quick. I'm gonna just highlight one lesson learned here, which is the time buffers. And so I just want to, this is very practical. I think inside at Beta I, we have done over 100 open innovation programs. We've designed and executed them. So I'm bringing something which I think is a methodological innovation that we brought, and hopefully is not just for us to feel proud, it's that so you can bring that to your own pilots and even outside GovTech4All. So typically when we do open innovation, you bring together at least two sides, and two sides of very different speeds, public sector and startups. And this was the case with the aspect that made it even harder, that we were using a new instrument called the design contest. So over a year ago, we decided that we would create a time buffer in the methodology. And what that helped was we allowed the different timings of the municipalities to work across a buffer time of around 4 months. And at the same time, we made a little tweak which allowed startups not to apply to the program, but pre-apply to the program. So we managed their expectations and we kept them in the buffer for a few months, and we activated them as soon as each municipality opened the procurement process. This worked very, very well. I believe that this is an insight so that you can bring this idea of time buffer in different stages of your programs or inside the stage of the program. So hopefully this will be helpful to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sofia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to both of you. Before I wrap up, I do want to share one final thought about why this work matters. GovTech is not just about bringing technology into government. It's about rethinking how we build public services with new actors, through new methods, and for real people. So startups, scale-ups, and digital SMEs bring agility, user focus, and fresh ideas, but for them to work with government, we need to change the rules of the game, or at least adjust them. So we need to open up procurement, create space for experimentation, and build bridges between institutions and innovators. Pilot 3 showed us that this is not only possible, it's already happening. And when the right structure is in place, and this is crucial, when there's political will and when people are willing to learn and adapt, public innovation becomes real. So thank you, heartfelt thank you to every person who made this pilot possible, for your leadership, energy, lots of energy, and patience, also lots of patience throughout this journey. So we want to thank you, Hannah, Ulrika, and Angelica from Braun Innovation, Gustavo, Anna, and Luma from Beta I, Camila, Lucia, Milda, and Victoras from the Lithuanian Innovation Agency, Daniel and Eduard from the Government of Catalonia, Despina from GRNet, Marta and Jorge from the Madrid City Council, our dear Laura from Gove for her effort, like relentlessly energy and commitment to the pilot. You each brought something essential to this process, and the results belong to all of you. So we're really proud of what we have built together, and even more excited about what we're going to build next. So thank you so much.
Well, you stole the words from me, actually, because I wanted to thank Laura profusely and thank all of the partners as well from the pilot. I want to give a special shout out to Laura here, because she's put in a lot of, it's one of my favorite expressions, put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this, lots of energy, lots of passion, and we've had so many successes, because of her, as well as the whole of the pilot team. I won't go back and rename all of the names again, but I will also thank Sophia for so eloquently guiding and moderating the Pilot 3, and for all of her support in general in preparation, and all the support with the pilot as a whole. So a big thank you there as well, Sophia.